Hey, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are talking about another round of snow today and tomorrow. It's going to take a little bit of a break, but later on this week into the weekend, we're going to see another round of snow move in from the west to the Midwest through the early portion of next week. So we're not done with the snow quite yet. We are fully getting into winter now, and that winter-like weather is in full force. Now it is cold today, but it is trending warmer as we head into December. So overall, December looks like it's going to be a bit above average. And what about that storm risk? Oftentimes whenever we have that heat, we also see storm risk. Well, right now it's low to no storm risk, but we do have some rain that could produce storms down in Texas and Louisiana today and tomorrow. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Hey, great news. If you missed the Cyber Monday sale yesterday, you have another chance to get in on that today. This has been extended because we had so many people interested in this sale that we have decided to extend this here at Hail Trace. So you have a second chance to get in on this sale. It is the biggest sale of the year, 15% off for new annual plans. So if you have any friends that don't have Hail Trace and are interested in a plan, send them this so that they can call today and get the biggest sale of the year. We don't do anything bigger than this. It's 15% off new annual plans. You can call us at 855-334, I think it's 4245, but it spells out Hail, or you can click the link in the bio of where you're watching right now. All right, let's move on to the forecast today. You can see yesterday's storm reports, pretty quiet. We barely had any rain out there. The rainfall totals are also very, very quiet and low, but your snowfall totals are a little bit more impressive here, okay? We've got some snow in the northern portions of Michigan, southwestern portion of Michigan as well, maybe even a light dusting out in St. Louis, and then we've also got that snow out in Tennessee. We talked about that yesterday. And then we've got snow up to our New England states, mainly right along where the Great Lakes are, and that is where we saw our lake effect snow yesterday. Something that's very interesting that I've said over and over and over, but I find really interesting, so I'm gonna say it again, is this year, because we stayed warm for so long this year into October and parts of November, the water temperatures are still warm out in these lakes, or are a little bit warmer than what they normally are this time of the year. That's going to give so much more moisture to some of these snow bands that come across and could amplify our lake effect snow. What does that mean for you? You could get higher snowfall totals in some of these areas. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing enhanced and lake effect snow over today, yesterday, and I think we're going to see that tomorrow as well. Okay, moving on to your temperatures. Yesterday, you can see that we were pretty cold across the northern plains. See that one more time, ready? You gotta catch it really quick. Cold across the northern plains, but then that cold shifted out to the east, and we're starting to warm up just a little bit here across the central portion of the U.S. and then out to the west, where we are above average right now. Not by much, but maybe by about 10 degrees in some places, maybe 15 in others. Meanwhile, out to the east, it's like the U.S. is split in half. We've got some much colder temperatures farther out to the east in places like Kentucky, Tennessee, even down into Florida. Those temperatures are also well below average for this time of the year, about 10 degrees below average for this time of the year. So we've got this warm front pushing out that warm air. You can see that there through the center of the U.S. We've got a few showers ongoing out to the north and east, a few showers ongoing up to the northern portion of the U.S. as well. Talking about, northern Minnesota there, northern North Dakota as well. Those are all snow showers. But where is that rain? That rain is going to be farther down to the south into Texas. And that's where we're going to watch the rain over the next few days. Not just today, but also tomorrow and the next day, as this rain kind of pushes off into Louisiana and then goes back down into Texas. And that's something that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. But there's those snow showers farther out to the north and east. Pretty dry out in Florida. Hey, speaking of Florida, we have an update of a conference out in Florida here in just a few minutes. Pretty dry out to the west as well. And then your current temperatures are sitting in the 30s for most of us. 30s out in Kansas City, just right at that freezing point. 32 in Fort Wayne. It's a little bit warmer, but not by much as you go to the south. Let's see, who's the warmest? We like to play this game in the summer. Who is the warmest across the U.S.? I think we're 71 down in Florida. I think that's the warmest. And then the coldest, we've got Minneapolis at 22 this afternoon. You've got your winter coat on all day if you are up in Minneapolis. And you may need not just a winter coat, but a snow coat, because we are expecting some showers and storms, some snow showers to continue here. Mainly lake effect snow. You can kind of see those bands coming off of the lake there. We're going to continue to see this as we head into the overnight hours tonight through early tomorrow morning. And then as you head farther down to the south, there's that rain that I was mentioning down in Texas, Corpus Christi, Brownsville, getting all of that soaking showers today. Could you see any storms from this? It's possible to see a strike of lightning, maybe a rumble of thunder, but the likelihood for severe weather here is very, very low. We're saying low to no severe weather through this area. Let's go back to snow, then we'll talk about those severe risks here in just a minute. Now, your snow accumulations through early tomorrow morning are really focusing out in our New England states. Okay, we're talking northern Pennsylvania, all the way up to most of New York, getting some sort of snow there. Some places are going to get bands of just really impressive snowfall totals, a foot or maybe even above. And then you go a little bit farther to the south or a little bit farther to the north and you get barely a dusting. That is what this lake effect snow does. But as we head into the later portion of this week into early next week, we are watching for more snow farther out to the west. So what we'll see is we'll see a system set up farther out to the west and then start to move in, draping the northern portion of the U.S. with more snow. That could even include as far south as Colorado and even portions of Kansas. So we're not going to see that until later this week into early next week. There is all of that rain that we've been talking about farther down to the south. This is ongoing. Southern Texas today, moving into Houston and into Louisiana for tomorrow, moving out to the north and east, really hugging the Gulf Coast on Thursday, and then kind of traveling back down to the south by Friday. So it's going to be from the southern portion of Texas all the way up to Louisiana, back down to the southern portion of Texas over the next 5 days here. Once again, what are we looking at for tomorrow? The risk here is very low. The biggest risks, lightning and thunder, okay? You're going to see maybe some localized flooding, but it's going to be pretty minor here. Localized flooding is possible, especially the closer you are to the Gulf, because you're going to get some of these pockets of heavy downpour in southern Texas and into southern Louisiana here. Alrighty, let's move on to your severe weather threat for both today and tomorrow. I know it says today, but this could go for both today and tomorrow. Very low, very, very, very low risk for these severe threats here. The flooding risk is also in the low category. I think if I were to choose a severe weather threat, I would choose flooding as the most probable. Okay, taking a look at those future temperatures, we are seeing a little bit of a warm up out to the west. Now, it's not going to be warm by any means. It's still December, so those temperatures are in the 50s and 60s through central and southern portion of the U.S. We've got the 50s down in Tallahassee, pretty cold for them down in Tallahassee. 19 overnight, Wednesday into Thursday out in Kansas City, 27 for a high in Chicago on Thursday afternoon, but 27 for a high in Chicago on Friday as well. 50s out in Denver. So a lot of us are staying cold, a little bit warmer as you go farther out to the west, and that is the case not only this week, but also next week. Oh, got a typo. Do you guys see that? This is a little silly. Sometimes I don't point out the typos, but whenever they're silly, you got to point them out. December 121st. Okay, well, obviously that is supposed to say the 12th, not 121st. 8th through the 12th, December 8th through the 12th. We're talking next week at this point. We are expecting to see those temperatures above average, not only from the west, but through the plains as well. And we're a little bit cooler out to the east, but that's about normal for this time of the year. What about the extended rain outlook? We will still see some wet weather farther out to the east. This is most likely coming in the form of snow. The farther north that you go, there's that snowfall that I mentioned that comes in late this week into early next week, and then we'll stay dry farther out to the west into places like California. They can't get a break. They got so much rain just a few weeks ago that was causing terrible flooding in this area, and now we are just completely dry. So it's either drought or it's flooding. It's one of the two for some of these states. Now, where will we see the heavy rain into December? December 10th through the 12th, we're looking at heavy precip farther down to the south into some of our Gulf states. So we're watching for some pretty active wet weather in this area. This is 1 week from today. Meanwhile, up to the north, we're expecting heavy snow and strong winds. So if you're expecting to do any traveling towards the second week of December, I would watch for some blizzard conditions, because it doesn't matter if it's just a little bit of snow. If it's blowing across the road, it makes it very difficult to see. So that's what we're watching for Minneapolis to Chicago, even into Toronto, which is where we're going to see that lake effect snow once again. Hey, I mentioned Florida just a few minutes ago. We are going to be out at the Roofing Process Conference December 4th through the 6th. Justin left yesterday to head out there. He says it's a beautiful location. It's on Marco Island, Florida, and the conference is at the JW Marriott. Now, why should you go to this? Well, it's a great conference to talk with other roofers, and you're going to get all kinds of different connections from this, all kinds of different other experts in the field from this. But go visit the Hail Trace table, because we have a raffle at the table. It's a whiskey giveaway. So go to the Hail Trace table, say hi to Justin, and enter into that whiskey giveaway. We're also going to be posting about that conference on our social media pages and our presence there, so make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you're interested in a hail, wind, tornado map, or that Cyber Monday deal, don't forget 15% off has been extended for today for new annual plans. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can even head over to our website for more info on what we do at hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here for your forecast, same time, same place tomorrow.